Hey guys, I'm back. Uh, I'm going to throw two videos on today, one for yesterday's day and one for today. Um, just keep plugging along, getting these videos in. You guys are doing good. Um, so we're continuing on with raceways. Um, we're going to talk about some PVC, some lock bushings, some different types of direct burial stuff. Um, just raceways. We know what raceways are at this point, right? We know what accessible is. We know what readily accessible. There's two different accessibles. There's readily accessible and there's accessible. Accessible means you can get to it. It might be in a locked cabinet or door through a ceiling tile or something. Readily accessible means it's right there, ready for you to open or ready for you to work on. So those are just a couple of the things we're going to talk about. All right, so talking about conduit, there's conduits where corrosion factor comes into play. Oh, I covered that one. Okay, so corrosion factor comes into play. That's PVC, right? We use PVC underground when there's a corrosion issue. So, which is true in regards to PVC? So, what is it about PVC that's true? Well, it's non-corrosive, right? It cannot be used as equipment ground conductor if you run it from the panel because it's non-conductive. It it does not increase voltage drop. Like you don't get more voltage drop with PVC than you do with metal, and it cannot be threaded. So, but it does require the use of an expansion coupling. And an expansion coupling is like this. It's like a tube and a bigger tube, and it slides in and out. And when you buy them, there'll be two black marks. There'll be this black mark and there'll be this black mark. You slide it out, you put it to the first black mark, and then you set it and you glue it on to your house like this. Okay, it glues on the outside like this, and then when the ground heaves, the expansion allows the pipe to go in and out. So when you come out of the ground with PVC up to your meter, you put an expansion coupling there down below your meter, so if the ground moves, that expansion coupling can move and your pipe doesn't break. You also, it's a good idea to put one out on the pole when you're coming down the pole just before the ground, 3 feet off the ground maybe, put another expansion coupling, or 4 feet off the ground, whatever, put another expansion coupling so it protects you from coming down onto the ground. That would be another option. So PVC, it requires expansion couplings. Um, what type of conduit is approved for direct burial? So for direct burial, um, a type of conduit approved for direct burial would be what? Which be HDPE. Hmm. I gotta, let me see here, guys. Hold on 1 second. I want to double check this. 1.18 here. 1.18. 1.18. High density. Yeah, okay. So, just so you don't know the name of it, high density polyethylene conduit. All right. HDPE, high density polyethylene conduit. It is listed, it is a rigid non-metallic conduit for underground installations. It's listed to burial underground. So an approved piece would be HDPE. What type of conduit is used to connect to machines that vibrate during operation? You would want flexible metal conduit. You don't want to run pipe all the way across the ceiling and down and attach it to a motor. That motor is going to shake and vibrate, or a machine's going to shake and vibrate. It's going to rattle your pipe apart. You want to come down into a box or a disconnect and then come out of there with flex or seal tight or some type of flexible material to come down to the motor. So it would be a flexible metal conduit. And if it was inside a commercial building and you're running metal anyways, then you want to continue with metal flex so you have your grounding capability. What type of conduit, which of the following is an acceptable combination of conduit bends between pole points? What is acceptable combination of conduit? So how many bends can we have in one run? What degrees of bend? You know the answer to this. We can have 360 degrees, right? So that 360 degrees, you have to add up every single bend, whether it's the 10-degree box offset. So if you make a 10-degree box offset to go into a box, there's two 10 degrees there, so that's 20. Then you make a 4-point saddle that's 45 degrees. Well, there's 45 and 45, there's 90, and then 45 and 45, there's another 90. So now you've just done 180 plus 20, now you're at 200. So you got to keep this in mind when you're doing it. So the answer to this, and I'm going to give you the answer to this particular question, will be 4 90-degree bends. Would be 360. That's the one you're going to want to pick. So what fitting is used to protect conductors from sharp edges of conduit? So when you run a wire into a conduit, you want to protect the edges from damaging. So what fitting would be used when damaging the conduit? Well, the fitting would be a bushing. A bushing would be used to protect it. Plastic bushing, so when the wire turns and hits the edge, it's just rubbing on plastic. Okay, last question. But then I'm going to ask a question. Ungrounded conductors leaving a raceway must be protected by bushings when they are sized of what? So what did I tell you about certain size wires and larger have to be protected by bushings per code. So the code says number 4 and larger have to be protected by a bushing. Okay, number 4 wire and larger. But the inspector can say, hey, I want everything over a 3/4 inch conduit protected by a bushing. Okay, or he might say everything over a 1/2 inch conduit protected by a bushing. Inspector tells you what he wants, and he's the one you got to listen to. So as far as the code goes, it's 4 gauge and larger, which is your number 4 bare ground. Anything that you're running through a pipe into a conduit, you're going to have at least a minimum of a 1-inch pipe. If you're running number 4, it's probably an 1.25 inch, and you're going to want to put. So when you put the pipe into the box and you put the nut on, you got to put one of those plastic bushings on. So it's just a plastic bushing so that the wire don't rub. Or you could have a grounding bushing or something like that. So, all right. So for question number 1, which type of following is true with regard to PVC? It can be used as equipment ground. It increases with voltage drop of conductors. It requires the use of an expansion joint. It must be threaded. Question 2. A type of conduit approved for direct burial is A, EMT, B, HDPE, C, IMC, D, RMC. Number 9. A type of conduit used to connect machines that vibrate during operation. What do you use to connect a motor to the pipe? A, aluminum, B, black enamel, C, flexible metal conduit, D, RMC. Number 4. Which of the following is an acceptable combination of conduit bends between pull points? How many bends can you have? A, 4 90-degree bends, B, 3 90-degree bends and 3 45-degree bends, C, 6 45-degree bends and 2 90-degree bends, or D, 8 30-degree bends and 2 90-degree bends. Number 11, the fitting, or number 5, the fitting used to protect conductors from the sharp edges of conduit where it enters the box is called A, bushing, B, lock nut, C, coupling, D, nipple. And number 6, last question. Ungrounded conductors entering a raceway may be protected by bushings when they are size number what? A, 10 and larger, B, 8 and larger, C, 6 and larger, D, 4 and larger. All right, guys, I'm going to put another one on here. I'm going to knock this one off. I'll catch up to you guys in a bit here. And I hope everybody's doing good. And just remember, I'll be calling you on Thursday. So if I call you on Thursday and you see you have a missed call from me, please call me back because I'll have to keep trying until I get a hold of you. All right? Thanks, guys.